Once officers arrived and searched for the 911 caller, but they could not find her. They walked up the stairs of the residence and knocked several times but received no answer. They listened for but could not hear anyone screaming or yelling. One of the officers checked with nearby residents who said that they had not heard any screaming either. The officer then requested that the caller be called back. However, the communications officer was unable to call the caller back because she had an international phone number. After checking the area around the home, the officers documented their findings and left the home shortly before 9 a.m. At 9:15 a.m., the same caller called 911 and said that she had not made contact with the police initially. The officers arrived and was able to meet with her while she was standing in front of the home. She identified herself as a tenant, and she was visibly shaken. At that time, she told the officer she was in her room when she heard screaming between 2 and 2:30 a.m. She said that she locked herself in the room and heard the screaming just outside the door. She said that she did not meet with the initial officer because she was afraid to come out of her room due to seeing blood seep under her bedroom door. Too afraid to open the door, she climbed out of her window and met with officers when she called the second time. The responding officers immediately checked the front door, which was locked. They were able to see an unresponsive person through the window. They called out to the person but received no answer. Officers entered through the back door and found the unresponsive male laying in blood in the hallway. He had stab wounds to the chest and was deceased. He was later identified as the suspect, 46-year-old Paris Oda. Officers began clearing the home, going from room to room. In the first bedroom, they found a young female deceased on the floor in a pool of blood with visible stab wounds to her leg and upper body. She was later identified as 17-year-old Sakurako Oda. When stepping over Paris Oda's body to search the other rooms in the hallway, the officers observed a kitchen knife in his right hand. In another bedroom, officers found a young male, deceased, laying in his bed with visible stab wounds to his chest area. He was later identified as 12-year-old Orion Oda. Officers followed the trail of blood to the master bedroom, where they found a deceased female child who sustained visible stab wounds to her back. The child was later identified as 10-year-old Nana Oda. On the floor, just behind the door, was a deceased adult female with stab wounds to her upper body. She was identified as 48-year-old Naoka Oda, Paris's wife. All 4 victims had defensive wounds on their hands and wrists. It is very probable that the life-threatening injuries that they sustained killed them within a few hours of the incident. There have been a lot of rumors and speculation by individuals not involved in this investigation. We are able to share the following at this time. During the course of the investigation, we have forensically examined and analyzed electronics to include cellular phones, reviewed the home surveillance, video camera recordings, and conducted interviews with family and friends. Based on this, we know the following. In the latter part of 2023, Paris Oda made it known he was struggling financially. He was behind on car payments, tuition, and loan payments. He shared with a relative that it was his responsibility to fix it. Paris shared his concerns with his wife. They made some changes, but the financial problems continued. In January of this year, Paris contacted a real estate agent to put a second property up for sale. In February, Paris' concerns increased, and he told his wife that he had not paid taxes for years. He was not getting enough patients at his chiropractor business, and he started to work as an Uber driver. In the middle of February, Paris texted his wife that they needed to plan to do it. He said he could not take it anymore, and he told her that their children needed to come with them because no one could take better care of them than he could. Naoko tried to be optimistic and encouraging with Paris. She suggested that they move to Japan with her parents, but Paris stated that he was done and too tired. Paris started to withdraw and became quiet and distant. Paris's financial distress heightened in March as the tax season approached. He told relatives that he would rather die before going to jail for unpaid taxes. At that time, he also said that he would kill his family and burn the house down. Paris unsuccessfully tried to obtain a gun around the same time. Based on the investigation so far, the motives for the 4 murders was Paris's financial distress. Our investigation is still ongoing, and we are still reviewing electronics and conducting interviews and testing evidence. And I could take